The VBP Plus Shipping Process Declaration document is intended for producers who use digital herd management software. It replaces the need to fill out the VBP Plus clearance check template because you're recording the process that you take every time to check your digital records so that you don't have to fill out the checklist every time that you do it. The first space on the document is just a spot to put in your operation name so that it officially identifies this as your shipping process declaration for your operation. The next section is where you actually describe your shipping process that you do every single time before you ship cattle. It's important to note that this should take place before the cattle leave the ranch, and ideally before you even start sorting out the groups so that you can make sure everyone is good to go for transport and that you don't have to undo anything or take any cattle back to where they came from if they're not okay to ship. The first field is for the fit for transport check. In this space, we're just going to explain how we visually inspect cattle while we're getting ready for them to go on the truck and how we make sure that all of them are fit for transport. Basically, that we're making sure there's none that are non ambulatory, that are lame, any that shouldn't be going onto the truck and that need to stay home. We can describe our process here by saying we visually inspect all the cattle while we're sorting into the pen where they will stay before shipping. We recheck them all before loading onto the truck, and any that are unfit for transport stay home and don't get shipped. The next field on this template is for sending our transfer of care document to the next owner. If you're unfamiliar with what this is and the new regulations for Canadian transport that require this document, you can check out the VBP Plus transfer of care template on www.verifiedbeef.ca. Here, we'll just explain that we're going to fill out our VBP Plus transfer of care template prior to shipping. We'll take it on the truck to be delivered to the next owner, and we'll keep it on file for 2 years. The next field is the process for our physical hazard check. This is how we check for any broken needles or known foreign objects in the hide of an animal or inside an animal. Here we'll say that all of our broken needles are entered into a data management system as a treatment with a 99-year withdrawal period, so we can pull the withdrawal report prior to shipping, check it over, and make sure that there's no broken needles. If we do find any broken needles, we keep that animal for our own use. The next field is to describe how we check our records for animal health products. So this would be any individual treatments and any of our group or bulk treatments like vaccinations. So here we're using a digital herd management system. So we're going to say we pull a withdrawal report on all the animals in the shipment, which integrates both group and individual treatments. The next field is to show how we check our medicated feed and water records for any withdrawal times. So we're going to say that we enter all of our medicated feed into a data management system with a withdrawal time, and we can pull a withdrawal report on all the animals in the shipment before shipping. In this case, we'll say that we don't use medicated water, so we won't enter that into this document. Note that for any of these fields, if there's something that you do not use on your farm, you can always put NA into that field. Keep in mind that this is only if there's no possibility of any of these occurrences happening. So for example, for medicated feed and water, if you just plain do not use any medicated feed or water, feel free to put not applicable in that field. However, for something like broken needles, if you do in fact use needles on your operation, you do have the potential to have broken needles even if you've had no occurrences. So this isn't a spot where you would put not applicable. You just explain that you would use these records if you were to have an occurrence, that you haven't had any occurrences, but these are the types of records that you would check. The next field is for herbicides and pesticides. So in this case, we're going to say that we enter all of our herbicide and pesticide applications into our data management program, and we can check our herbicide and pesticide records for application times before we even move the cattle onto that land, and also before shipping to make sure that we don't have any withdrawals that are active. The last major field here is for us to describe how we send any information about hazards that we find to the new owner. So in this case, we'll write any withdrawal issues that we find in the records are recorded on a single document, which is given to the next owner by the trucker. We finish off the document by signing our name and dating when we actually filled out this document. The reason for this is that on the clearance check template, we'd be initialing every time we do this process to basically sign off that everything was all good. and that we were doing everything the way that we said we were going to. In this case, by signing off on it just one time, we're saying this is the standard operating procedure that we use every time we ship, and this is me signing off to say, yes, we do this every time. That's all there is to the VBP Plus shipping process declaration template. Be sure to check out www.verifiedbeef.ca for more resources to help you through the shipping process.